I see almost every single player that struggles getting steep in the downswing or coming over the top in the downswing, maybe losing some power, not feeling like you're very athletic with your golf swing. Almost every single player, and I bet this is you too if you fit that description, struggles with their hand path in the backswing and in the entire swing. So let me go ahead and talk about what's the most common thing that happens. Well, we want to get this club from the inside. We know that having the club in the downswing come from the inside, or in the slot as a lot of people would call it that, is really good for playing great golf. You don't see too many players that are coming down way steep in the downswing, you know, much more on this side of the slot. So if this is really good here, this steeper downswing, you don't see a lot of PGA Tour players, a lot of great players with that very steep angle. How do we get it shallowed out though? Well, what a lot of players will do is they'll actually pick up the club with the right wrist. So this right wrist will start to bend, what's called wrist extension, very early in the swing. And the right elbow will kind of almost make like a lawnmower move. And when you put those two things together, that sucks the club way back to the inside. That's in an effort to get it more shallow and from the inside, but the problem is we're talking about the downswing, and this is in the backswing. So when I tend to get the elbow and the wrist doing that motion, that drags the club inside, and now my body instinctively knows I'm gonna have to reroute it somewhat to even make my downswing, and it'll start to kick this club steeper and over the top. So the more you try to go inside in the backswing, the more it actually reroutes and gets steep and over the top in the downswing and causes a whole heck of a lot of problems that are very frustrating. Here's what I want you to do. Let's actually reverse that pattern for a second. Instead of that right wrist wanting to extend, what's called wrist extension, and go back, your knuckles back to your elbow, I actually want you to exaggerate and have it do the opposite. As you start the backswing, I want your wrist to what's called flex, your right wrist to flex, and that's gonna make that club stay way outside your hands like this. Now, if I was to really do this in a golf swing, it would look crazy. I'm just talking about a little bit here. Let me show you an exaggerated version of this. So if I was to actually let those wrists do that, that would bring the club way out here, almost like a Matt Wolf kind of looking swing. But then watch what would happen in the downswing when I change direction. That's gonna bring it to the inside. So the more you do this in the backswing, the more I suck this club to the inside, the more you wanna cast in the downswing. The more I keep this wrist kind of going this way, feeling flatter, the more it wants to have lag and be able to go into the slot in the downswing. Same thing with that right elbow. I want you to go ahead and set up here, and I want you to feel like it stays very straight for a very long time in the backswing. I imagine this club is staying as far away from my body as I can here. So when I put that together with the wrist angle, it's gonna look something like that. Again, kind of that Matt Wolf-esque type swing. And when I change directions, all the momentum of the club is gonna wanna work from the inside. So if you struggled to get the club from the inside, you struggle to get it into the slot, a lot of that is just that very first move in the backswing. So let's go ahead and try one the right way here. I'm gonna feel like I'm Matt Wolf, really getting the momentum going there. But in reality, it's not gonna really look like that. That's just the feeling that I'm having. You'll probably only barely see a small difference in what my real swing looks like when I feel that exaggeration. But let's go ahead and give it a try here. There we go. So that club really feels like it went way out there and wanted to loop in. Again, this is a drill. It's not necessarily what you're gonna feel like when you go out and play, but give me 15 of these as practice swings. So I'm just feeling like the club goes out and then it loops in. I'm gonna do that about 15 times until I get the feeling of it. Then another 15 where you take out the pauses and you actually make full swings doing that. So it'd be something like that. And I'm going another 10, 15 swings again just to get comfortable with the move. And then you're ready to feel the same thing when you're hitting a golf ball, and that club is really gonna wanna jump to the inside. Now there's one more piece of this that makes all the difference in the world. Actually, if you follow everything I just said there and you don't get this piece right, it's not gonna work. It's plain and simple as that. And the reason is, most players that I see, they try to get this club in the slot. They try to get it more angle of lag here. They try to get this from the inside. But the problem is, at the same time, they're standing up out of their posture. They're getting farther away from the golf ball with their body. And now you have to cast and flip just to be able to reach the golf ball down here. So essentially we're making the golf ball too far away from us, and we have to kind of flip this club out, which is gonna tend to get us steeper, and it's gonna tend to make it very inconsistent like we talked about. So if you wanna get it in the slot, you wanna get tons of lag, you actually have to get closer to the golf ball. What I want you to feel like is that your body works down into the shot. I want to feel like my chest gets closer to the ground. My knees get some bend in them. I don't want to feel like my knees are fully flexed and I'm standing up like this. I want to feel like I'm getting closer to the ground there. I want to feel like my hands are really low to the ground, specifically in this area of the swing. I want to feel like they're much lower. And I actually have a drill that's going to give you the perfect feel for this that I call the knuckle dragger drill, where I talk about exactly how to use the hips, the body, and the hands the right way so that you can finally stop standing up in the golf swing, finally get that club in the slot like we talked about here. And once you get this piece, it's like tying a ribbon around all of it. It all makes complete sense now. It all fits together as one total unit. So I'll play a preview of that video here in just 1 second. All you need to do is go ahead and click that round button you'll see somewhere on your screen here. It's the card that's going to pop up. Click there, you'll get instant access to this video where I go over the knuckle dragger drill. It's going to make this super intuitive for you. Now if you don't see that card, don't worry. Go down to the link below in the description and you'll be able to get instant access there too also. So best of luck. I can't wait to share with you the secrets of this kind of knuckle dragger drill. It's a real game changer for a lot of people. You're going to have a blast playing golf when you do this. I'll see you there. I got an awesome video for you. This one is what I call knuckle dragger. This is one of the best ones, one of the big missing pieces to players that are struggling to get more lag. Now let's talk about when you lose lag, what's happening. A lot of times what's happening is as you make your downswing, if we're looking from this down the line view, what happens is my hips go toward the golf ball, they start to slide forward. My chest moves back away from this golf ball, so I'm getting farther away from the golf ball, and then all of a sudden I cast, I flip, and I don't have a lot of lag there. Well, look how far my hands are away from the ground. Also notice when I get my hands closer to the ground, so as my hands get lower, then what happens is they also go forward more. So as I want to have more lag, when you feel like your knuckles are dragging the ground, then that club is naturally going to lag back behind, and then you're going to release that out in front. When your hands are far away from the ground, well, if I had all that lag, where would I be swinging? I'd be swinging a foot over top of the golf ball. So you have to kind of flip, release that lag early to just make contact with the golf ball at all. So having those knuckles feeling like they're scraping the ground is really going to be a big key. Now another piece to this, again, when I talked about losing that posture, your hips go forward. You're going to want to feel like, as those hands scrape the ground, your knuckles drag the ground.